In this video, we're going to see how to bring in the STL file that we exported in the previous video into a software and prepare it to be 3D printed. Now, different 3D printers might have different softwares that they use, but in our case, we're using a 3D printer called the Ultimaker, and the Ultimaker has its own proprietary software called Cura. Now, Cura is a free software, and you can download it and install it on your computers by going to the provided link. And once you download and install it and open it up, you should see an interface like this. Now, I know Cura has been used by not only Ultimaker but other 3D printers as well. So if you're using any of those 3D printers, you can use the Cura software as well. But maybe sometimes you might have access to a different type of 3D printer, and they might have instructions on what kind of software you have to use. So in that case, you need to use those softwares. But the process is going to be very similar. So once you open it up, you need to open up or import the file that you've created. In this case, the file that we created was the STL file, the dorm room STL, and this is the folder that we saved it in. So I'm just going to open it up, say open, and it should come in into the software. Now if I scroll out just a bit, you see it looks very funny. It has this weird texture on it. What that means is it's beyond the printable area, because the printable area for the 3D printer is shown by this outline. So what we need to do is we need to move it inside of the 3D printer for one, and maybe scale it just a bit, because otherwise it's not going to be able to be printed using this 3D printer, at least, because it's going to be too big. So in order to scale it, there is a tool called Scale. Gonna use this middle cube here to scale it down just a tad, and once it looks yellow, that means it's printable. So I can even just move it again just to see where it's sitting, like that. So now it's all prepared. What I need to do is just 3D print it using my 3D printer. So I can click on this prepare button, which is here. I'm going to click on prepare, and it's going to slice it, and you see it says 17 hours and 59 minutes. It's going to take 17 hours and 59 minutes in order to print this model. Now if you scale it even a little bit more, that's going to reduce, that the time to print is going to reduce. Let's see how that works. So now it's 5 hours and 34 minutes, and you can change some of these settings in order to change that as well. Like for example, the infill, the fill between the surfaces, you can change those, but I'm just going to leave them at default, and this size is fine for me. If you want a larger size, that's up to you, and it depends on on what you want to use this particular model for. Right. So once it's done, you just need to save to file. So if you click on save to file, it's going to save a G-code file, and depending on the type of printer, you can put it on a SD card and pop it into the 3D printer and go into the 3D printer settings and print it off, or you might have to just use a network in order to send it to the 3D printer. It depends on the 3D printer that you're using. So I'm just going to save this for the time being, a G-code file, and I can either pop it into a SD card and put it on a 3D printer to be printed, or I can send it through a network if that's the way my 3D printer works. So that's it. That's how you 3D print using SketchUp.